Go for it. 6p, guys. X equals C, what's it? Yeah. 3c plus 1. What's the object to get C on its own, is it? Okay. You have to get C on its own. However, there's two C's, okay? Problem number 1 is there's a fraction situation going on. We need to remove the fraction situation. Okay, so anybody know how to remove the fractions? Anybody? If I said x over 4 equals 12, how do I remove the fraction of 4? Bring it up and multiply it by the 12. So why don't we remove this fraction in the same way? Bring it up and multiply it by the x. Okay, the logic is the same. Now, we can't move. This c is locked in, isn't it? This c here is locked in. It can't be moved because it's inside a bracket and it has to be multiplied by x first. So why don't we multiply it out first? So we're going to multiply it out to free it from its bracket. So now it's 3cx plus x equals c plus 4. I can't get c on its own when there's two c's in the question, yeah? Does anybody remember how to turn two c's into one again? As an example, if I said 3ac plus 3bc, how do I factorize them into 1c? I can take out 3c, can't I? So if we manage to bring them over one side and factorize, what we're hoping to do might actually happen. Okay? So what we're going to get is 3cx minus c equals 4 minus x when we bring the x over the other side. Are you alright with that? Now what happens next then? C into 3x minus 1 equals 4 minus x. Is c on its own yet? That c there, it's not on its own. What's preventing it from being on its own? So the bracket 3x minus 1 means multiplying by 3x minus 1. So bring it under. Can anybody else give me another answer that works as well? If you multiply the top and bottom by minus 1, you have another answer that's also correct because you're not changing its overall value. As an example, the fraction 3 over 4. If I multiply the top and bottom by minus 1, it turns to the minus 3 over minus 4. It's still the same value because the minuses cancel with each other. So you can multiply top and bottom by minus 1 and you could get x plus 4 over 1 minus 3x. That would also be an acceptable answer. Okay? How many people got that? Anybody get that? Okay. Pity, I would have done it at junior cert as well, that level, okay? Now, next question. You have a wall. This question was tough. It was a bit of a curveball. I'm representing the wall by the red part here, okay? Now after we have the wall, we have a rectangle. The rectangle is the fence, okay? And what you're told is that the fence is, he has 300 meters of fence to use. So 300 meters of fence, okay? Now, you can do this fence in all different shapes, can't you? As in, oh sorry, you do actually have to make sure that's 300 meters across. Was it 100 and... Actually, no, you're asked. A farmer has 300 meters of fencing and wants to make a rectangular paddock against an existing wall using all his fencing. Find the length L of the paddock in terms of the width. Okay, so that's the length, that's the width. What can you tell me about the width plus the length plus the other width? What does that equal? Huh? Has to equal 300 meters. What's the length on its own then? The length on its own? Bring 2w over the other side. Length is equal to 300 minus 2 times the width. Is that alright? You clued in here? Paying attention, right? Here we go. Okay. Keyword in this says find the dimensions of the paddock if the area is. It shows you that the area is 10 thousandths. That's what it gives you in the question. It wants you to find the length or the width, or both. Any ideas for that? What shape is it? What shape is this? A rectangle. How do you get the area of a rectangle? Length by width equals 10,000. LW equals 10,000. Are you able to solve this equation as it exists? You have one equation. How many letters do you have? One equation, two letters. Is that possible to solve that? You want one equation, one letter. We need a second equation, and we need to trade out one of the letters. Does anybody see that second equation on the board? What can I trade out? I can trade out the L. Can't I? I can replace the L. I can replace this L here can be traded in for that there, because it's the it's the same length. Okay, so W multiplied by 300 minus 2W equals 10,000. 300W minus 2W squared equals 10,000. Next, after that, guys, what happens next? Move them to one side, and what do we get? 2W squared minus 300W equals, or say, plus 10,000. What type of equation is that on the board? What type of equation is that, guys? Huh? It's a quadratic. I'm dividing by 2. You could have done the minus b formula there if you wanted, but we're not going to do that just yet. Okay, reference number. Two numbers that multiply to give me 5,000, but you add to give me... Anybody tell me? Add to give me what? 150. What about 150? 100 combined with 50. Will they multiply to give you 5,000? Will they add to give you minus 150? Yeah, so we're sorted there. W equals 100, or W equals 50. Now, please remember that length equals 300 minus 2 times W. Everybody see that? 300 minus 2 times W. Okay, so your length is going to be 300 minus 2 times 100, or it's going to be 300 minus 2 times 50. Your length is either going to be 100, or your length is going to be 200. Now, does that make sense? A length of 100 for a width of 100. What's 100 by 100? 10,000. Length of 200 for a width of 50. What's 50 times 200? 50 times 200? 10,000. Again. Okay. Well, that's not it. What's next on the list, guys? Solve 3a squared plus 16a minus 12 equal to 0. What next? Hence solve 3 into x over 7 squared plus 16 x minus 7 over x minus 12 equals 0. Okay, any ideas, guys? For which one? Top one. Okay, what you get? Just tell me now, though. Minus 36, yeah? Plus 18a minus... Okay, finish it off for me now, Thomas. That's 3a, sorry. 3a bracket. A plus 6, yeah? Then after that? Yeah. Okay, after that? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Finish it off. No, 3a minus 2 equals 0. A plus 6 equals 0. You're right about that. A equal to minus 6. You're right about that one. What next? 3a equals 2. A equals 2 over 3. Okay. Now. Yeah, plus 2 over 3. Two answers. This one here. This one here. Everybody happy enough with that? Now. What's the similarity between this one and the one we just did? Anybody see the similarities between this one and this one here? Did you see the similarities? 3, 3, something squared, 16 times something, 16 times something, minus 12. It doesn't matter what's in there. It follows the same pattern as the old one. So whatever this, we'll colour in green now. Whatever this green blob is, when you solve it, doesn't matter what's there. The bottom line is, when you actually solve this properly, the answer will have to be 2/3 or minus 6. This means the green part will have to be equal to 2/3, or it will have to be equal to minus 6. Okay. Well, how'd you do this question on the left? So, anybody remember? How'd you do the question on the left? Yeah.
Put it all over x and then 3x.
So x on the bottom, x on top, x on the bottom, and now you're right. I need to put 3 top and bottom as well now, don't I? So go around again. 3 on the bottom, 3 on top, 3 on the bottom, 3 on top. Do they all have the same denominators now? Am I allowed to cancel these denominators? Why? And it's a solved question, right? So 3x squared, bring over that 2x minus your 21 equals 0. Go for another reference number. Minus 63 being the reference number. Minus 9 and plus 7. You alright that? 3x squared minus 9x plus 7x minus 21 equals 0. 3x bracket x minus 3 plus 7 bracket x minus 3 equals 0. 3x plus 7 x minus 3 equals 0. X equals 3, or x will equal minus 7 over 3 when you're done. Alright, go for the next one. This time, what do we do here? Up here, guys. Any takers? Up here. X on the bottom, x on top. X on the top, x on the bottom. Do they now have the same denominators? Yeah. Bring the 6x over to your side. X squared plus 6x minus 7 equals 0. X plus 7, x minus 1 equals 0. X equals 1, x equals minus 7. Everybody cool with that? Good. Now, what am I on now? Question 9. Yeah, the poster one. Yeah, everybody loves this one. Alright. To promote a college play, everybody listening? Read the question there beside you, guys. To promote a college play, a class undertook to make 200 posters, with each student making the same amount of posters. If there was X students in the class, express the number of posters made by each student in terms of X. Okay. Can anybody tell me, how do you calculate posters made per student in English? If we're all taking equal share of the amount of posters, right? And I said, look, we have 5 people, and I said we have 10 posters. How many posters would each one of us have to make? 10 posters, 5 people. How many posters each would you have to make? Huh? 2 each? Yeah? 2 each. How did you do that? Huh? You divided the number of posters by what? Number of people, number of students. Just because it's letters does not mean that changes. The first one, part A, is 200 over X. Everybody happy with that? 200 posters to be made, X amount of students. On the day, 10 students were absent. We have X students. What's 10 students less? X minus 10. Do we still have to make 200 posters? Still have to make 200 posters. Okay. It then says, when with these 10 students absent, everybody had to make one extra poster. Okay, yes, Higgins. Okay. Now, here's the really hard part. Which one's the bigger number? Which one is bigger? Is 200 over X bigger, or is 200 over X minus 10 bigger? Is it option A or option B? Who's bigger? Okay, you're telling me A is bigger, and you're telling me B is bigger. Okay, let's put it this way, right? Which is bigger? 200 divided by 9 or 200 divided by 10? No, 200 divided by 9 is bigger. €200 divided amongst 9 people is a bigger number than €200 divided amongst 10 people. The bottom line is, the bigger the denominator, the smaller the number. Which one has the bigger denominator, A or B? A has the bigger denominator. This makes this the smaller number. And this one makes this one the bigger number. How much bigger is it? It says in the question. One extra poster. We're talking about number of posters per person. One of them's bigger by 1. The one on the right is bigger by 1. Is everybody happy with that? Bigger by 1. So the smaller number plus 1 is equal to the bigger number. Okay, pause there. Any questions about that? And then once you're done with that, guys, what type of how do we solve an equation like that? Anyone tell me how to solve an equation like that? Same denominator. So go for it. What's the denominator? Sorry? Yeah. And then what else? An X and an X minus 10, yeah? Yes, Higgins. No. It's the full denominator it doesn't have. So, as an example, Higgins, 1 over X plus 1 over X plus 3 as an example. You consider the X plus 3 a completely separate number to the X, so you have to put that top and bottom. And this one needs an X top and bottom as well. Okay? So, yeah, you can't do it that way. I get what you're saying. You're getting it mixed up with when you're getting it mixed up with this. In a case like this, all you have to do is multiply top and bottom by 3. You can't plus it. It doesn't work for plus and minus. It only works for multiplication. Is that what you're thinking? Okay. Now we're nearly there. What goes on this side? Up here. And now next after that, what cancels? After that, after that, After that, big one. You guys will probably end up doing the minus big. I end up doing that 50 and 40. X equals 50 or x equals, which does the answer have to be? Why does it have to be 50? X represents the number of students in the class. You can't have a negative amount of students. Okay, we're doing alright. Moving on. Solve. This one was easy. Comes up on the leaving certs. Come up on the leaving cert before. The last couple of years a question this hard came up. Any idea how to do this one? David, any idea? Square both sides. 2x minus 1 squared equals 8x plus 1. How do you square that out? No, that would be... It's not even that. You're doing this, and then you change that to 2x squared minus 1. You're doing the difference of two squares. So that's what you're at. But what this means is it's the same bracket replicated twice. Okay? It's alright. Then 4x squared, when you multiply it out successfully, that's what you get. The ones cancel, bring out the 8x. 4x squared minus 12x equals 0. After that, guys, yeah. Yeah. After that, 3 and x equals 0. 0 divided by 4, which is still 0. Yeah. Okay. How'd you rate the difficulty? Well, had you done it recently? Yeah, but had you done it recently? Wouldn't have been difficult. Okay. Question 10 big. Shh. Solve this. Okay, go for it. How'd you solve that? Any takers? What does those two vertical lines mean? Huh? Example B. What's the answer to that? Has to be positive. Okay? Now, if you understand that minus 13 equals, what happens if we square both sides? What happens if you square minus 13? Multiply it by itself, I mean. Multiply minus 13 by minus 13. Plus 169, and the other side will also be 169. So when you square both sides, those two vertical lines don't seem to matter, do they? So we're going to do this two different ways, alright? I'll show you method number 1. Method number 1, square both sides. So you're going to get x, when you square a fraction, guys, as an example, if you square 2 over 3, what's the answer? When you square 2 over 3? 4 over 9. Because the squared works on the 2 squared divided by 3 squared to give you 4 over 9. That's the squared works on both of them. So this is the same thing. If we square both sides, it's going to be x minus 2 squared all over 3 squared equals 1. After that, anybody? It's technically x minus 2 by, which is x squared minus 4x plus all over 9 equals 1. What's the problem? 9 on the bottom, 9 on top. Cancel the 9s, equals 9. Or, some yous may have just done it like that, bringing the 9 up. X squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 9. Bring it over. x squared minus 4x minus 5 equals 0. After that, x minus 5, x plus 1 equals 0, x equals minus 1, x equals 5. Everybody cool with that? We're good. Okay, can anybody suggest a different way of doing this? Oh yeah. Okay, I'll show you a different way. Now this way isn't always on, but it's might be considered to be shorter. Okay. Can anybody in the class tell me what is the only number? There's two numbers. What were my two answers in the end there, by the way? Was it minus 4, 4 and 5, was it? Or 1 and 5? 5 and? 5 and minus 1, thanks, okay? Let's write that here for a second. Show you a different way. Okay, this different way, guys, is what's the only two numbers I can put in here such that the modulus equals 1? What are the only two numbers I can put in there? 1 and minus 1. The modulus of 1 is 1. The modulus of minus 1 is 1. Everybody happy enough with that? That means there's two outcomes for this part here. Either it equals 1 or it equals minus 1. Cross multiply. X minus 2 equals 3. Bring over 2. X equals 5. Check. Next one. X minus 2 equals minus 3. When you bring the 3 up, bring the 2 over, comes a plus 2. X equals minus 1. Check. You can do it both ways. You can square both sides, or you can break it up into two parts and try it out individually. Works both ways. Everybody cool with that? Now, done. Yeah, we're never getting that done. I'll do question 12, not question 11, okay? I'll come back to question 11 the next day, because 11 is just way too long to get done in 5 minutes. Now, it says, write the following quadratic equation. Now, most of you did well here. Can I? So, what we have here, guys, is you want to express it in the form. You want to turn this into the form x. What's x minus p squared or x plus p squared, something like that. Plus q. Okay, I think that's meant to be a plus, but it doesn't affect it either way. Okay, and then once you're done with that, it wants me to find the minimum. Minimum value, and then after that I want you to solve x squared plus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Okay, somebody tell me how to do this. Anybody remember? Anybody at all? When you multiply it out. Have I overshot or undershot? So I'll correct it. Bring it back. It's an easy couple of marks, isn't it? What type of graph is that? If I drew that out, what would it look like? U-shaped, N-shaped? U-shaped. And U-shapes have, what's the bottom called? Minimum value. Okay? Now guys, the minimum value, this is the y value as an example. Okay? When is the y value at its lowest? What's a squared number always guaranteed to be? A positive number, isn't it? Squared numbers are always guaranteed to be positive. If it can't be negative, what's the smallest number you can make it? If it can't be negative, 0. How do you turn x plus 2 into 0? X equals minus 2. When you sub in x equals minus 2, it will convert that into 0 squared. What's 0 squared minus 3? No, 0 minus 3. Yeah, minus 3. So your minimum is minus 3. If I drew that graph out, guess what the minimum point would be? Minus 2 minus 3. At the x value of minus 2, your y value will be minus 3. Okay. Last one. You could solve this. What's the original way to solve this? Anybody remember? How'd you solve that? It won't work. The reference number won't work for this one. You will try, but it won't work. Minus b formula would usually be the way to do it. You'll get full marks for doing the minus b. It wants us to do something fancy here, okay? What it wants us to do is, it wants us to convert it back into what you had a second ago. It wants us to bring over the 3. Then wants us to square root both sides. Wants me to square root both sides. Now, thing about root 3 is it can be plus or root 3. And then after that, x equals minus 2. Yeah, plus root 3 or minus 2 minus root 3. Okay. That's us. What ones did we do today? So